20. The End of Smallpox. Medical science has conquered smallpox. This terrible disease, which through history has killed millions of people, has now been eradicated. The breakthrough came in 1796 when a British doctor called Edward Jenner discovered the smallpox vaccine. He injected patients with a vaccine which gave them a slight but not very serious form of the disease and enabled their bodies to build up resistance. At first, his discovery was treated with suspicion, but gradually other countries adopted the technique, and by 1900 there was almost no smallpox in Europe or North America, but outbreaks of the disease continued in South America, Asia and Africa. They were of epidemic proportions. In 1965, the World Health Organization began a vaccination campaign to eradicate smallpox. Teams of doctors have vaccinated millions of people even in remote areas. The last outbreak was in Africa in 1976. However, in case of emergency, huge stores of vaccine are kept in Geneva and New Delhi. But we are still at risk from killer diseases such as the SARS epidemic, which began in China, or malaria, which in some areas kills thousands of children every day. And of course, large parts of the world are still being devastated by the pandemic AIDS. Medicines are available to help control this disease, but for financial reasons, these treatments are mainly available only in developed countries. Listen to the interview with a doctor in Africa.
First of all, can I ask you what gives you most satisfaction about your job?
Easy. As a doctor here, you can really see that you're making a difference to people's lives. 50 years ago, polio, for example, was a major killer. Even when I started, it was very common in this part of the world. Now, because of the village vaccination program, it has almost disappeared completely. Also, I have to be honest, another thing that appeals to me about this work is the sense of adventure. We come by Land Rover, or a very small plane, to remote places that hardly anyone has visited. For a few days, it's possible to be the honoured guest in a community where the way of life hasn't changed for centuries. It's possible to experience the traditional tribal way of life. That's a real privilege, and it probably won't last for very much longer.
And is there anything you don't like?
Mosquitoes. But more seriously, a lot of our work now is with AIDS sufferers. We have vaccines which will delay the onset of the disease, but very often by the time we see people, it's too late to help. The scale of the problem is devastating. Some villages have lost a whole generation. That's heartbreaking.